Hello, welcome back. I wanted to talk today a little bit about cover crops. I'm getting ready to plant some, take out a row of tomatoes, leave a couple of plants, but I'm gonna do some cover cropping today. I did some in another plot over the weekend. And I went looking. Normally, I haven't been real picky, not very experimental, let's put it that way. I've always kind of used annual rye. It's a good cover crop as long as you can cut it before it seed heads in the spring. The heat will kill it out and we're good. But I went looking, I couldn't find any local. And a lot of annual rye, and I'm not going to use fescue seed out this time of year and things like that. But so I got to looking and I saw, and I've used it before, but a food plot bag. These are done for food plots for deer and turkeys and stuff. And I wanted to look at the ingredients of and it's basically a good mix of cover crops is what it boils down to. It's a common wheat. As long as I mow that off before it seed heads in our area, that's May, so that'll be long gone before then. Trophy rape, which is green, it's edible. It'll make good thick cover. Annual ryegrass, what I was looking for, is in the mix, along with Daikon radishes, which is a tillage radish. And then I got online and I ordered a couple bags as well to mix in for what I'm finishing. Tillage radishes are kind of interesting to me. It's my first year really trying them. It's been around a little while, but not real long. Not as long as I've been gardening. It was something that came about as a cover crop. Now the thing about them, you can't plant them dead of the winter. That's why I've got to do it kind of now, get them established. The roots will continue to grow. They'll set deep, deep radishes, and they're used for tillage. They are edible. They're used in a lot of Asian cooking, and they're super hot. They're used sparingly. But my main purpose is to cover crop and a tillage radish. So I'm gonna get to ripping some stuff out, then I'll plant these, and I'll kind of show you that when I get to it. And we'll kind of track the progress over the next few weeks and see how it germinates. So I removed what I need to do some cover crops. I want you to pay attention. The stuff on the right, and I did this in another video, is the box store weed fabric. This is, the brand was DeWitt woven fabric. All season, we can certainly tell a difference of which is the better if you're wanting it for weed control and mulch. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna weed eat this down. I'm not worried about pulling all those weeds because I'm gonna be covering it back up and covering it with and don't want to disturb the soil, and I'll put amendments in there. So I'm just gonna weed eat it down and sow my cover crop in here, and then I'll water it in. But I just wanted to stop for a minute and another example of the differences in ground cover fabrics. It's night and day. Let's try to wrap this up real quick. So I did the seeding. Mistake I made, I'm not paying attention to the radishes I ordered. They were really small packages, but it's kind of on me. It was kind of a late decision to do that. Normally I've been cover crop is done with rye, but a lot of it just covered with plastic after I'm done. I'm a big believer though in covering the ground some way. Doesn't necessarily be plastic. It's either cover crop, plastic, just thick layer of mulch. I think it benefits soil, especially since I do a no-till method. So I watered it in. I will pick up more food plot mix. So I didn't get this quite as thick as I'd like for a cover crop tomorrow and seed it again. And I'm really curious how that food plot mix works. It's a little more expensive to do it that way, but if you're a small gardener and have less than 1,000 square feet of bed or a couple hundred feet, it's perfect. A bag will last you a couple years if that's what you're doing, for around 15 bucks. So kind of a trade-off. It's not the perfect mix, but we'll see how it does. Another mistake I want to mention, and I want this channel to be very open and honest on when I make a mistake. And it's, I guess you wouldn't classify it a failed experiment. So if you go back a couple of videos, I talked about doing fall squash to try to beat the squash bugs. Started them last week of July in the house. They germinated, got the transplant side, brought them out. They're doing okay. The squash is maturing very slow. They've been at like 3 inches. I got one I'm looking at now that'll probably pick tomorrow maybe, but that's the first one. The rest of them are really small. Don't have squash bugs, but the squash is maturing very fast. Normally squash, when it gets this big, then you look out the next day and it's ready. They've been staying 3 inches or so for over a week now. I think it's a daylight issue. Not sure that I'm getting enough good direct sunlight on them. So, won't try that next year, but it was an experiment. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you the next time.